Most men believe intermittent fasting does one of two things to testosterone. They believe it either boosts it naturally or destroys it completely. But here's the truth almost no one talks about. Both beliefs miss the real danger. Because testosterone doesn't crash the way people expect it to. It doesn't fail loudly. It fails quietly. For some men, intermittent fasting slowly increases testosterone. Subtly, almost invisibly. For others, it does something far more dangerous. It suppresses testosterone without obvious symptoms. Without sudden drops. Without alarming blood work. No red flags. No clear warning. Just a gradual loss of drive. Weaker recovery, duller motivation, and a body that feels slightly off but never broken enough to explain. Two men can follow the same fasting schedule, eat the same foods, train the same way. One gets leaner, sharper, more resilient. The other slowly fades. And here's what makes this unsettling. Neither of them realizes what's happening while it's happening. Because the factor that decides which path your body takes is not discipline, not fasting length, and not even calories. It's a single biological signal most men have never heard of. Backhand index pointing right if you care about understanding your hormones before something goes wrong. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future breakdowns that separate biological reality from fitness myths. In this video, we're going to expose exactly what happens to testosterone when men practice intermittent fasting long-term. What improves, what quietly breaks, and how to know which direction your hormones are moving before the damage shows up on a lab report. No hype, no audiology, just physiology. Testosterone is often described as a single hormone, but biologically it's part of a larger signaling network. Testosterone does not operate in isolation. It responds to energy availability, the stress hormones, sleep quality, nutrient intake, inflammation, training load, and perceived survival conditions. This is why simplistic claims like fasting boosts testosterone or fasting kills testosterone are both misleading. Testosterone is not driven by food absence. It's driven by how the body interprets energy balance and safety. And intermittent fasting alters that interpretation, sometimes in beneficial ways, sometimes not. Testosterone is often framed as a muscle hormone, but evolutionarily that's not its primary role. Testosterone exists to signal abundance, support reproduction, enable physical competitiveness, enhance motivation and risk-taking, support tissue repair and recovery. In simple terms, testosterone is a permission signal. It tells the body, resources are available, conditions are stable. Now is a good time to build, compete, and reproduce. Anything that challenges that perception, real or perceived, can suppress testosterone output. This is where intermittent fasting enters the picture. Intermittent fasting does not signal starvation, but it does signal energy timing uncertainty. When food disappears temporarily, the body asks, is this a short gap or a longer scarcity? Do we still have sufficient stored energy? Is stress manageable? If the answers are favorable, the body adapts positively. If not, it begins conserving. This distinction is everything. In the short term, intermittent fasting often lowers insulin, improves insulin sensitivity, reduces inflammation, improves sleep regulation, reduces visceral fat. All of these support testosterone indirectly. This is why many men experience higher libido, better energy, improved mood, better body composition. First, but long-term outcomes depend on what happens next. The most important factor is not fasting length. It's energy availability over time. Energy availability equals calories consumed minus calories required for basic function and activity. If energy availability remains adequate, testosterone is maintained or improved. LH signaling stays normal. SHBG remains stable. Cortisol stays in check. If energy availability drops chronically, testosterone production slows. SHBG often rises. Free testosterone declines. Libido and recovery suffer. Intermittent fasting does not automatically reduce energy availability. But for many men, it eventually does. Quietly. Men who do well long-term with intermittent fasting usually share these traits. Adequate calorie intake during feeding window. Sufficient protein and fat. Low psychological stress. Good sleep. A moderate training volume. Stable body fat levels. For these men, insulin improves. Inflammation drops. Aromatization decreases. Testosterone signaling improves. Fasting works because it removes metabolic noise, not because it starves the body. Men who struggle usually combine fasting with chronic calorie deficits, excessive training, poor sleep, a high life stress, low dietary fat, fear-based restriction. The body begins to interpret conditions as unsafe for reproduction. Testosterone declines not dramatically, but persistently. Often, total testosterone looks normal. Free testosterone drops. SHBG rises. Symptoms appear before labs change. This is why men feel off without obvious explanations. Cortisol and testosterone have an inverse relationship. Fasting increases cortisol slightly. This is adaptive. But chronically elevated cortisol suppresses LH, inhibits testosterone synthesis, impairs recovery, reduces libido. Fasting plus stress plus undereating equals hormonal conflict. Excess body fat increases aromatase activity. Fasting that reduces visceral fat can lower estrogen conversion, improve testosterone ratios, but excessive fat loss signals scarcity, reduces leptin, suppresses reproductive signaling. Again, balance matters. Many fasting men get labs showing normal testosterone, but SHBG increases with calorie restriction, low insulin, a high cortisol. Higher SHBG binds testosterone. Free testosterone drops even if total stays stable. This is why symptoms matter more than numbers alone. Studies show a short-term fasting often has neutral or positive testosterone effects. Long-term calorie restriction reduces testosterone. Lean athletes are more vulnerable. Overweight men often benefit initially. Intermittent fasting is context-dependent, not universal. Positive signs: stable libido, good morning erections, strong recovery, stable mood, consistent strength. Warning signs: reduced libido, poor sleep, cold sensitivity, irritability, plateaued training, loss of motivation. These are signals, not weakness. Key principles: eat enough total calories, prioritize dietary fat, avoid excessive deficits, manage stress, sleep deeply, cycle fasting intensity. Fasting should support energy efficiency, not undermine it. Intermittent fasting does not boost or destroy testosterone. It reveals how well your body tolerates energy timing changes. Testosterone declines when the body perceives risk. It thrives when the body perceives stability. The human body is not fragile. It is adaptive. But adaptation depends on interpretation. When food disappears briefly, the body doesn't panic. But when scarcity becomes chronic, prepares differently. Understanding this changes how you approach fasting, training, and hormones, not in theory, but in real life. Because once you understand what your body is actually responding to, you stop guessing, you stop copying extremes, and you stop unknowingly working against your own biology. The real takeaway is this: intermittent fasting is not a testosterone hack. And it's not a testosterone killer. It's a biological stress test. It reveals whether your sleep, nutrition, recovery, body fat level, and stress load are working with your hormones or against them. Your body is not fragile, but it is always interpreting signals. And the men who protect their testosterone long-term are not the most extreme. They're the most biologically aligned. If you want more breakdowns like this grounded in physiology, not fitness myths, subscribe now and turn on notifications. because the next videos will show you exactly how to read your body's hormone signals before problems show up on lab results. And I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried intermittent fasting and did your energy, libido, and training performance improve or quietly decline? Drop your experience in the comments. I read them all and your data helps shape future videos. See you in the next breakdown.